Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day. Before we begin the video, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers leak: a rumor slipped out last week that Marshall Ashford Robert Gossett was going to meet his maker this week. So far, that hasn't happened. The last time we saw Marshall, Curtis Ashford, Donald Turner, was sharing the happy news with him that he and Portia Robinson, Brooke Kerr, were expecting a baby together, even though they are also planning to get a divorce. Marshall imparted his wisdom, as expected, but there were no signals that this would be the last time Curtis saw his father. Recall that when Marshall was first found to be alive, we learned he thought for years that he was suffering from schizophrenia. That turned out not to be true, as he was misdiagnosed. Marshall has never mentioned any other health problems. So his death would be sudden and unpredictable, meaning there is still time for that to happen this week or in the weeks ahead. But we're wondering if that leak that spilled out was more vague, and that the leaker might have connected dots that weren't there and assumed it was Marshall when it was actually someone else. No one saw this one coming. Ned just couldn't bite his tongue when he lashed out at Drew Cameron Matheson, for all of his antics toward the family. Ned has had enough of Drew trying to stick it to the Quartermaines. But as he clutched his chest and fell to the ground, Drew was having none of it. Laughing it off and accusing him of faking a heart attack, Drew hobbled away with his cane like Ebenezer Scrooge. It was Giovanni Gio Palmieri's Giovanni Mazza, quick thinking, along with Britt Westbourne, Kelly Thiebaud, that pulled him through. But Ned isn't out of the woods just yet. In fact, we've been in purgatory over him all week. Come on, GH. Look, when a major decades-invested character practically drops dead, we'd like an update sooner than a week out. Ned's heart attack should be major storyline fodder right now. Instead, it's operating in the background, as though he isn't having a bypass surgery that he might not make it through. With so much going on around town with the mayoral election and the kids being arrested, it's understandable that one day has stretched out over the whole week, but enough is enough. It's possible that we're going to lose Marshall yet, but there are no signs of that happening, and the ongoing silence about Ned's condition is starting to fall flat with viewers. Could the silence mean what we fear? Could it be that the leaker didn't precisely find out that Marshall was going to die? Rather, could it be the leaker found some marginal evidence that someone's father and grandfather was going to unexpectedly die? There aren't that many characters on the show right now that fit that bill. We know it's not Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard. He's not going anywhere yet. There are few grandfathers in the mix at all. Ned might have seemed out of the question, and Marshall could have seemed irrelevant enough to pick off. Did the leaker just assume it was Marshall? Did Sam McCall's, Caddy Monaco, Death, and Hamilton Finn's, Michael Easton, exit teach us nothing? No one is safe. Do you think we're about to lose Ned? General Hospital viewers have been buzzing for weeks after a chilling rumor began circulating that a beloved Port Charles resident might be headed for a fatal exit. At first, many assumed the whispers pointed toward Marshall Ashford, especially after recent storylines placed him in emotionally heavy territory. But in true GH fashion, what fans thought they knew may have been a misdirection. Now that unexpected hints are surfacing about Ned Quartermaine's future, some are wondering if the original rumor wasn't about Marshall at all, but about Ned, whose storyline has quietly grown more ominous with each passing episode. Viewers know ABC isn't shy about blindsiding the audience with shock twists, and with the show juggling multiple legacy families under intense pressure, the puzzle pieces suddenly look very different. The Quartermaines have a long history of dark turns, tragic accidents, and dramatic exits. The Ashfords, on the other hand, have built a slow-burning emotional arc over the past several years. So why does it suddenly feel like the danger is shifting across town? Did everyone jump to the wrong conclusion? And if so, how close is Ned to a storyline that could take an unexpectedly dark, potentially fatal turn? At the center of this speculation is a string of GH insider leaks hinting that an actor from a legacy family could soon be exiting, voluntarily, involuntarily, or temporarily. Fans immediately panicked over Marshall because of his age and recent stresses involving Curtis, Trina, and the family's endless crises. But now that a different set of clues is emerging around Ned's divided loyalties, mysterious absences, and the Quatermain estate's upcoming upheavals, the rumor mill is roaring louder than ever. For months, Ned has been entangled in one of the most emotionally complicated arcs on the canvas. His relationships with Brooke Lynn, Lois, Olivia, and Michael have been weaving in and out of tension, reconciliation, and unresolved wounds inherited from years of family dysfunction. GH has also been building his identity as both a flawed father and a loyal Quatermain, even as he continues wrestling between ELQ pressures and personal battles. But long-term GH fans know this pacing all too well. When a character's story begins subtly reshaping itself, isolated scenes, reflective moments, heartfelt conversations, unfinished business, it often means the writers are quietly laying the groundwork for a major turning point. And sometimes that turning point is their exit. So why would fans suddenly shift from worrying about Marshall to worrying about Ned? The answer lies in the recent storytelling patterns and the tone of Ned's scenes. Over the past few weeks, Ned has had a series of foreshadow-heavy conversations, particularly with Brooke Lynn and Lois. Scenes filled with regret, unspoken feelings, and references to family legacy tend to mean something on this show. Ned has been unusually nostalgic, offering emotional guidance, sharing fatherly wisdom, and reflecting on the mistakes he wishes he had corrected sooner. For GH viewers, that's often a red flag. Characters about to face tragedy often receive moments of emotional closure before the storm hits. Even more curious is how Ned's storyline has intersected with the chaos erupting around other families. His proximity to Sonny's escalating war, Lois' dangerous entanglements, Brooke Lynn's rising fears, and Tracy's brewing secrecy puts him directly in the path of multiple disasters. It has not gone unnoticed that Ned has been in the wrong place at the wrong time more than once recently, and GH rarely stacks coincidences without payoff. Meanwhile, Marshall's storyline has been moving in a different direction. Yes, he's been overwhelmed. Yes, he's been emotional. But unlike Ned, Marshall hasn't been given the type of reflective, symbolic scenes that precede a character's death. Instead, his arc feels more like preparation for growth, a chance to strengthen his bond with Curtis, step into a more active paternal role, or confront the emotional baggage he's carried for decades. GH doesn't usually build a legacy character up only to immediately tear them down with a fatal exit. Which brings us back to Ned. Rumors have circulated that GH may be preparing for an unexpected Quatermain shakeup, one that sends shockwaves throughout the entire family. Tracy's latest manipulations, Lois' sudden return to the canvas, Brooke Lynn's impending motherhood storyline, and Michael's growing moral conflicts all intersect perfectly with Ned's arc. Losing him would explode multiple storylines at once. Brooke Lynn's life would be shattered just as she finds her footing. Lois would be thrust into crisis mode. Tracy would face a moral reckoning she couldn't talk her way out of. Michael would likely blame himself for the unresolved tension between them. And Olivia. Her devastation would become a centerpiece of the storyline, giving GH a chance to explore grief, trauma, and rebuilding after a sudden loss. Ned's death would echo through the canvas in a way few characters' deaths could. And GH loves ripple effect tragedies. Some fans already suspect the writers may be preparing to revisit the kind of Quatermain shock they delivered years ago with Alan, AJ, and Emily. Those losses forever reshaped the family. A Ned exit, temporary or permanent, would have similarly explosive consequences. But is GH really going to kill Ned? That remains the big question behind all this speculation. Some insiders claim the rumor was blown out of proportion, while others insist something major is brewing behind the scenes, something the show is keeping extremely quiet. There is also the possibility that Ned's storyline could simulate a fatal situation, such as a serious accident, medical crisis, kidnapping, or coma, without permanently removing him. GH frequently uses life or death cliffhangers to create shock value without actually killing the character. And the show has been known to drop misleading leaks to throw fans off the scent. If Marshall was never the character in danger, but Ned also isn't being written off entirely, GH may be building toward a near-death storyline designed to rock the Quatermains without ending Ned's legacy for good. Alternatively, GH may be preparing a misdirection of misdirections, hinting at Ned to shift focus away from another character entirely. And with so many players currently in danger, Sonny, Lois, Jason, Drew, Cyrus, Michael, Anna, Maxie, almost anyone could be the true target of the original rumor. Still, the timing of Ned's reflective moments and increasingly dramatic atmosphere surrounding the Quatermain mansion cannot be ignored. GH doesn't waste emotional beats, and Ned has been receiving too many meaningful scenes for fans to feel completely comfortable. The real question may be this: was the rumor about Marshall ever true, or was he simply the easiest person for viewers to assume was in danger? If the clues now point toward Ned, the storyline may be entering a phase where tragedy becomes the catalyst for multiple future arcs. Whether GH is preparing a heartbreaking farewell, a terrifying close call, or a shocking twist no one sees coming, one thing is clear: the rumors swirling around Port Charles have far more layers than anyone realized. And as the Quatermains brace for the next storm, Ned may be standing at the eye of it, unknowingly heading toward a moment that could change everything. One rumor may have started the panic, but the truth behind it might be even more explosive. The real story may not be who fans assumed was at risk. It may be who GH has been quietly preparing to lose all along. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our YouTube channel for more update news.